Hello, welcome to ScriptWave. In our previous lecture, we discussed the theory on loops. In today's lecture, we'll be covering the code for loops. Without any further ado, let's navigate to PyCharm and start coding. Now, I am in PyCharm and I have created a new file called as 0.5.4 loops code. Now, let's start with the for loop. So how can we use for loop? We can use for loop for iterating through the list. So let's try to build a list. Let's call it as LST, and now I am adding few marks of MPC. If I'm just seeing the syntax, I'm just trying to give an example as well. Now I want to print all the marks. So how I can print? So now I am writing for and iterator I. You can use I or any other variable, but I am using I, and I is most common while using the loops. Even in any language, you can use I. For I in LST, we need to print I. We need to print I. Let's quickly save it and run this program. So we got the output 90, 89, 97. Now let's try to build one more logic of giving us the sum and average marks. So how we can find it? So first we need to find the sum. So whenever we are counting or adding anything, the default value we pick is 0. So I am just making a variable sum underscore 1 or underscore marks is equal to 0. Now you can ask me, we have sum of operator in list which allow us to build it, right? Yes, you are right. We have the operator, but I'm just doing by core logic so that you can reuse the same logic in other languages as well, not only Python. Now, for every iteration, I need to add sum is equal to sum plus I. Why sum plus I? Every time I'm adding marks into the sum. Now let's try to understand it better. I have a basket. Let's pick a basket and try to understand how exactly this sum works and how exactly we are adding it as 0. Now I have three set of fruits. Let's take mangoes, guava and apple. I have 90 mangoes, 89 guava and 97 apples. Now I need to put everything into a basket to find the total fruits. Now, how can I add? Initially, what is the count inside the basket? It is 0, right? Now I'm adding 90. So what is the sum now? 90 after adding mangoes. Next, I am adding the guava. What is the count for guava? 89. We already have 90. So it will be 90, which is the current sum or current value at this basket plus 89. This is after adding mangoes plus guavas. Then I am adding apple. What is the count for apple? Initially, we have the sum value as 90 plus 89, which is 179 plus 97. Now we are getting the final sum, that is the total fruits inside our basket. We got 16. So total we have 276. So this is the same logic we are trying to apply here. So the reason behind we applying 0 is to make it as initialized as 0. Now what if we want to multiply something? Then you add it as 1 because we cannot multiply with 0. Anything multiply with 0 will return 0. So we'll look at some examples with that as well. But just to have the concept clear, I'm just adding the one logic as well here. Now let's go to the code and execute everything. So we got marks plus 1. So for every iteration, the I is getting updated and the sum is getting updated. Now let's quickly print it. Sorry, along with that, we need to print the sum as well. Print sum marks and then quickly execute. So we got 276. You can add a small text as well so that you won't get confused. Total marks. Now, how to find average? Total marks divided by total number of marks. So print the average is sum of marks by len of LST. Now let's see the average. So we got the average as 92. Here you can clearly see the small basics that we learned in our previous lectures are same that we are reusing to build our logic and the code. So that is very important to have basics thorough. Based on that, we can be a better programmer for building a complex logics as well. Now let's move to the while loop. So I'll comment this out for now. So let's navigate to the while loop. So here we can print using the condition. So let's say count. So why am I initializing count? Why we are making the count as 0? We are using the count for making our condition false. So while count is less than 10, print count plus equal to 1. Now finally, let's print count and let's quickly execute it. So we got count 9. Let's comment this out for now and let's print only this one. So we got from 0 to 9. Why 0 to 9? I have used a less than symbol, not equal to. If I use less than or equal to, now it will print the 10th one as well. For these cases, to understand better, in PyCharm, we have an option called as debugging. Let's try to use it and understand step by step of every variable happening. So I'll just put a hover on your line number and you'll get a red mark and click on it. So this is called as stopping. Now we can click on this bug button and click on debug. Now we are in the debug mode. Now you can see clearly what is happening. Now we are executing step by step. Here we have the operators to move step by step. So now the current position of while where the count is 0. So you can see the count as 0 here. Now I need to move to the next step. Count less than or equal to 10. So the expression is giving us true. You can see all the variables as well if you want. And then I am moving to the next step. And then you can see the count got increased. You can see count became 1 after the first iteration. And then we are printing the count and we are getting the output. So you can see, you can click here and understand how count is getting updated. So this is very helpful to understand and debug the code. That is why I choose PyCharm for coding Python. So you can just remove this stoppers and you can just minimize it and I'll stop this one and you can just execute it normally and you get the output. So this is the story of while. Now let's try to understand the range. So I'll comment this out. So how can we use range? Now let's try to print the tables. So 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 3, something like that. So n is equal to input a number. We need to find the number. The user will input a number and we will be finding or displaying the table for it. Now let's quickly say for I in range, starting from 1, we don't want to start from 0 because tables start from 1, n plus 1. Why n plus 1? Let's not do n plus 1, let's do 11. Why 11? Because we want the number to be multiplied from 1 to 10 only, not including 11. So we need 10. Now print. So what is the table? So table we'll write it as 2 ones 2, right? 2 twos 4. So this is the table that we write. 2 1 the 2, not 1, my bad. Now let's try to print the similar thing. What is 2 here? 2 is n. So n. We need a multiplication sign, right? So I am adding a comma, or you can just do something like, so we can use the print format as well. So you can just say f double quote bracket open close n. We are adding the value n and a multiplication sign. You can add a space if you want to make it look better. And then the I, because I is something we are getting as iterator, it will be changing from 1 to 10 is equal to n multiplied with I, and this is the output. So let's quickly print goodbye at the last and quickly execute this one. So enter a number, let's do with 2 only. So we got the 2 table. Now let's change the number, enter a number by 5. So we got the 5 table as well. So this is how we can use the range, and let's try to explore range options. So we are good with this one. So I'll comment this out. Now let's try to play with range now. So for I in range 1 to 10, and let's put a step of 2. Now let's print I. So what will be the range? This gives 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 because the step is 2. Step works in exact same way as we did for slicing. So here, if you put step 3, the numbers will change. Along with this, let's try to print the only range. So print range, so range of 10. Let's print it and let's print range. Along with that, let's also print the step. So we just get a lazy operator where we just get the range. So if you want to explicitly get the values, you can try using a list. So list and quickly execute. So we got range 2, 4, 8. So this is the range. So this is how we can use the range for our operations, and this is how we can use the loops for our daily works. We can have endless possibilities and endless examples for the loops. So make sure you practice as much as you can the if statements and for loops. So that's it for this lecture. Thank you so much. Have a great day. See you in the next lecture.